So here in this video we are going to learn one more thing about the function, that is recursion in C. So first of all we have to understand the recursion. So recursion is a process which comes into existence when a function call a copy of itself to work on smaller problem. So we simply can say that a function call itself again and again until certain specific condition is not met, then this process is called the recursion. And any function which call itself is called as the recursion function, and such function call are called as the recursion calls. Recursion code is shorter than the iterative code, however it is difficult to understand. Now here iterative code to means that the looping code. We can write the same program using the loop like while loop, for loop or do while loop. What the code written while creating the program using the loop, there may be the number of codes or number of statements or number of lines, may be the number of line that we have to write in the recursion code. What in the recursion code, it is sometimes difficult to understand the program. So if you see here as the example, say we want to calculate the factorial of a number 5. So for this we are having a number 5, and then we have to 5 is multiplied by the factorial of 4, and we got the result that is equal to 120. Now here number is 5. Now we have to calculate the factor. First time it is calculated, has to calculate the factorial of 4. So here we got the answer 120. Now in order to calculate this factorial of 4, we having the number 4, and then we need to calculate the factorial of 3. And the same way, if we are having the number 3, then we need to calculate the factorial of 2. If we are having the number 2, then we need to calculate the factorial of 1. And if we are having 1, then we need to calculate the factorial of 0, which is equal to 1. We always know that the factorial of 0 is equal to 1, and the factorial of negative number or less than 0 cannot be calculated. So we have to calculate the factorial up to the 0 value. So this is what is called as the recursion again and again. Here factorial function is calling itself again and again until the factorial of 0 is not calculated. So now let's move to our integrated environment, and here we will write a program to calculate the factorial of a given number. So our IDE is open right now, and here I have written certain line, that is commentary demo recursion in C programming, and I write one more line over here as commentary to calculate the factorial of a given number. So this program is about the demonstration about recursion in C programming, and also to calculate the factorial of given number. So here is the header file I have included. So what I am going to do, I am declaring here, first I am making a prototype of the function. So this function int will as the return type, and to this I am giving the name as effect as the name of the function, and this will take one argument of integer type, and put the semicolon here. So what this is called the function prototyping, in which I am going to declare the name of the function, and the rest the body of the function I will write later in the program. So after that I'm writing the main function here, and here in the main function I'm writing a message. First I need to declare two variables. One is the variable in which we will accept the number from the user to whose factorial we want to calculate, and another variable is to store the value of a calculator factorial. So we need to declare two variables. So first variable is n, and say second variable I am taking as f for factorial. So here I'm writing a message for user to enter any number. So enter any number whose factorial is to be calculated. So I'm putting question mark here. I'm using \t escape sequence, and at the end I'm putting semicolon. Now I have to read this function. For that I'm using scanf function, and the format of reading is integer, so %d has to be used here, then comma, and here we have to use address operator, and then we have to give the name of the variable to which we wanted to assign the value, then put the semicolon. Now I'm initializing f variable is equal to, and I'm calling factorial function here, and to that I'm passing the value of n, this here. And after this I'm displaying one more message on the output, that factorial of number. Here I want to display the number, so I'm using is equal to %d again, and here I have to give the reference of the variable n, then we have to give the reference of the variable f. Save it, put the semicolon. Now I'm here going to write the body of the function factorial. So here is the declaration I have done already. It is will return the value integer type, then name of will be fact, and the one argument it will take of integer type. And here we are writing the body of this. So as we know that the factorial of 0 is equal to 1, and the factorial of 1 is also equal to 1. If somebody enter the number equal to 0, so we have to display the message the factorial is equal to 1. And if somebody enter 1, then we again have to calculate display the message as factorial is equal to 1. So if condition I am putting here, if n is equal to 0, then it will return, say, 1, and here else if n is equal to 1, then return again 1, else what it has to do, it will return n multiply by, I'm calling fact function again, and to n minus 1. So what I have done here in this program, if you see here in this program, what I have done, if somebody enter a number, that will be assigned to the variable n and passed to this. So if the number is entered equal to 0, then it will return 1. If the number enter equal to 1, then it will also return 1. If somebody else any other number other than 0 and 1, then what has to do, that number will be multiplied by factorial of the number less than 1 of that number. So what we are doing here is the factorial, and within that we are calling again factorial function. So this here is the factorial function, and within this I'm again calling factorial function. If you see, this is within the body of factorial. So the body of factorial start from here, and this fact function ends here, and I'm calling this function within this function. So this is what called as the recursion of a function. So after this is almost complete of the program. So save your changes here, then go to execute menu, choose compile and run, and here we got the error. Semicolon we have to put here to terminate. Okay, we have put the semicolon at wrong place, so we have to put the semicolon at the end of the line here. Save your changes once again and go to execute menu, choose compile and run. Oh, our number is compiled, and here it is asking us enter any number whose factorial is to be calculated. So I'm putting here example of 5. So here it is showing me error that the factorial of it is not displaying me here as the result, just for reason. So close the program. Now check for the program is for any mistake. So we have the problem is in this line. If you see here, it is written as the factorial of number percentage d is equal to percentage d. Here we have not written d, so that is the mistake, and here we have to put the d. Here we have to correct the mistake, then save your changes again and go to execute menu, choose compile and run this time, and here enter the value 5, and we got the result. The factorial of number 5 is equal to 120. Okay, similarly if we want enter the value, say run this program and enter the value 0, so it will display that the factorial of number 0 is equal to 1. If we enter 1 here in our case, it will display message factorial of number 1 is 1. And same way if we enter number 10 here, so it is showing me the factorial of this 10 is this much number, you can read out of there, and this is as a result of 10 multiplied by 9 multiplied by 8 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1. So this is the output as here, and you can also check for the smaller number. So I'm entering this time, say 3. So we know that the factorial of 3 is 6. Here is 3, and then we have to calculate the factorial of 2. So the factorial of 2 is equal to 2. Then we have to calculate the factorial of 1, that is equal to 1. Then we have to calculate the factorial of 0, that is again equal to 1. So it means 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1, that is, and multiplied by 1 again equal to 6. So that's why we are getting the result factorial of 3 is equal to 6. So this is how the recursion of function take place. So simply what we have done in the recursion, we have here the function factorial, and within that we are calling the factorial function again. This is basically is called the recursion in C. So that's all for now. See you soon in the next